Hello, dear friend. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. Today, I want to talk about an issue that I know is affecting many. I know many people are struggling with it. I know is a source of contention, especially internal contention for a lot of people. This is the issue of a confusion of sex and companionship, right? And this video is kind of clickbait because in this video, I'm going to talk about more than just sex and more than just companionship. Clickbait because sex and companionship are needs, right? They're desires, huge desires, needs, I guess you could say so. But what those things represent in this video are more so misrepresented needs than anything else. I feel like nowadays in modern culture, many people have misrepresented needs. We think we want this thing, but in reality, what we need is this thing over here. And there are different theories as to why this is the case. We're not going to get super scientific because I'm not a doctor. But what I am is someone living in the 21st century who has eyes, huge eyeballs, and I can see. So we're going to talk about things that I've noticed and things that I'm sure you've experienced to some degree or another, and we're going to make sense of it. Now, you don't want sex, you want companionship. A lot of people my age or age seem to be hyper focused on the trivial experience, which is sex, right? We allow that to dictate like a huge percentage of our decisions. It governs what we think about, it governs what we watch, it governs what we're attracted to, it governs who we're attracted to, it governs what we care for. And obviously that can't be healthy. Obviously, it goes without saying. And especially if you're on a college campus, if you're in university, you'll see this probably more than the average person, because people get caught up with the fact that, oh, I have this natural desire and I just really want to satisfy it, and this is what I want to do. And it hurts my heart when I see people who are obviously vulnerable, obviously struggling, obviously helpless in terms of how they view themselves and their self-esteem, and the only outlet and source of comfort they can get is to get in bed with someone. I know, got dark real quick. But I want you to think about it. This misrepresented desire for companionship is misrepresented by a desire for sex, for intimacy, which should only be shared with someone you are willing to get completely intimate with. See, being naked is a symbol. It's symbolism, right? Being intimate is symbolism. It's more of a spiritual act than it is a natural act. You make yourself known to someone, which is why biblical texts and ancient manuscripts mention knowing your partner, your significant other. What it's really talking about is sex. It's intimacy, right? And that is the only time you should get to know someone that well, when you're intimate with them. But I think what a lot of people crave and have been starved of for a very long time is companionship. Nowadays, when you see people walking around, we have our noses stuck in our phone, right? And most people are anxious, right? We're not used to conversing and talking to people we are intimidated by. Maybe they're beautiful, maybe they're tall, maybe they're jacked, whatever the issue may be. Like, we're intimidated, so we don't talk, we don't converse with these people. And so to alleviate the anxiety that brings on, we bury ourselves in our phone. We bury ourselves in our phones, and it becomes difficult to find companionship that way. 98% of people are buried in their phones in public settings. How the hell are you going to make a friend group? How are you going to maintain friendships when people's attention are elsewhere, outside of human connection, in the natural world, in the physical world where you can touch someone? Then how is that, where you're going to find companionship? Anyway, I've noticed this trend, and the trend is this. People have not become less social, so to speak. We've become less social in the physical sense, but if you really take note of it, everything has been transferred online, right? We spend as much time with people today as we have in the past 2,000 years, I'd say. Maybe even more so. Except these people are virtual people, not real people. Okay? And we're real people, not virtual people. So there's a disconnect. And that companionship and need for friendship and solidarity is lacking as a result of this fact. And one way to cope with that, I just made a video talking about coping, and I think it'll be posted shortly. The internet here is stupid, man. Back to the point. When so many people when their emotions and their natural desires are suppressed by the world they live in, right, the social standings of the people around them, right, the social situation that they exist in, soon enough they'll try to find an outlet. Unfortunately, sex and other vices, right, frivolous sex and other vices become outlets for people. They become coping mechanisms. And this is where the title of the video comes in. You don't want sex. You want companionship. You don't even like sex as much as you think you do. Let's be honest. And I'm a virgin, so I wouldn't know. But what I can say is that I have this idea, and I want to find someone who can prove me wrong. I'm willing to be proven wrong. Just, I don't care. But I just think it's useful to think about this. I think it's necessary to think about this because, I mean, why would you want to live a life ill-informed, where you're constantly fooled by your emotions, you're constantly fooled by your hormones, and every time you feel something, you feel like you need to pursue that thing? What about virtuous things like strong friendships that edify you, friendships that strengthen you? Those are the things we need, right? We see a rise of lonely young men and women, quite frankly. And a lot of people, we don't come up with solutions. We just find ways to cope. We find ways to survive. We find ways to continue living and pretend as if we're thriving. But truly, we're dying inside, man. I had this thought the other day. I was thinking, I'm getting older. I'm not getting younger, bro. I remember when I was young. I remember when I was a very young kid. And those days are gone, and I will never, ever, ever get them back. We won't get those days back. And if we continue spending our days like this, where there is no connection whatsoever, no true connection for a long period of time, we will look back and we will regret deeply how we've spent our years. And I want that to really shock you. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I mean, you already knew you were going to die. You didn't need me to tell you that. You knew that. So I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to get you to think, because I think about this stuff too. When I get older, I do not want to look back on my teen years, my early 20s, my early 30s, and be like, damn, oh my word, I did not do the things which I knew were right because I was scared, or because I was timid, or because I was shy, or because nobody else did it. How tragic would that be? How tragic would that be? So the title of this video being, you do not want sex, you want companionship, is basically a pointer to the fact that a lot of people have their true wants and their true needs confused with what they think they want, because it's the easiest way to get a knockoff version of what they actually need. And let me see if I can rephrase that and make it make sense. See, in sex, right? What people truly crave most of the time, I mean, obviously there's a physical element. What it's natural, so you're gonna have a desire for it, obviously. But I think what people crave on a deeper level is to be known, to be understood, to be held, to be felt. to be seen, to be heard. You get what I'm saying? And they can't get it any other way. Man, this about made me tear up. But they can't get it any other way. So what do? They find the closest, the knockoff to true love, to true understanding, to true desire, to true passion for something cheaper, right? They get the knockoff version. You know, I think a lot about how myself in the past and many people now, we find ourselves in friend groups not because we truly love that friend group or because we truly love the people in that friend group. I'm not, hey, love your friends, right? Love your friends. I love my friends. But a lot of the times we don't join certain friend groups because we have a true desire to be there. We join the friend groups because that's the next best thing, right? According to us, right? Because a lot of people feel like to be alone is the worst thing in the world. So what's the next best thing? Go join a group. Even if you don't really like that group, even if you don't really mesh well with that group, even if that group disrespects you constantly, even if that group does not see eye to eye with you at all, right? You don't want to be with that group, that specific group. You want people to see, love, understand you, and to be friends, genuine companions with you. That is what you want. Stop getting your feelings confused, bro. You are hurting yourself. And the ironic thing is, and to continue using this example of sex/companionship, if you pursue the fraudulent thing, if you pursue the knockoff, and that's what you go with on a day-to-day basis, and you say, okay, I'm going to consistently choose sex over companionship because obtaining sex is easier than obtaining true companionship, then you make it even more difficult for you to get what it is you truly desire, which is for someone to love you fully, truly, unconditionally, and to see you for what you are, who you are, and to still decide to be there with you. That's what you want. But the more you indulge in accepting the counterfeit for what you truly want and desire, then that which you truly want and desire becomes further from your reach and moves away from you. Because when you sell yourself cheaply, you lose respect. And the people who would have respected you otherwise now start to second guess. That's the tragedy of the situation, because a lot of people, they've gone too deep and then they realize, oh shoot, I've gone too deep. And when they realize that, they start thinking, and then they get depressed because they're like, oh my gosh, no one's going to want me because blah, blah, blah. And which I would strongly discourage you against thinking like that, because compassion is out there. There are compassionate people, and nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. But what tends to happen is that people, they realize that, and then they're like, okay, well, I guess it's already too late, so what the hell? Let me just continue. Go down the spiral and spiral downwards, and you know, who knows what happens. But that's typically where it goes. And for your sake, I hope you take this conversation into consideration, because you have your priorities mixed up. You probably do. Are you the best are you the best person you could be right now? No, you're not. So you have your priorities screwed up. That's literally what it means. So if you could get this thing straight and figure out how to get what it is you truly want, what it is you truly need, what it is you truly desire, then your life would become so much better, so much quickly. It would knock you off your feet. It would knock you off your feet. This is just another conversation. But I've been thinking about this for a while, and I decided to come on here and talk about it. So, thank you for watching. This is Corban Conversations, and I will see you next time. Seek on. Seek on. Bye-bye.